Welcome to another edition of the True North Country Comics Podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book creators and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I chat with Sam Noir at the Barrie Public Library Comic-Con. Sam talks about Zip Kramer, his graphic novel collected edition, the upcoming Dwayne's Inferno with Christopher Yao, Skeleton Apey with Stephanie Line, the steampunk superhero title Victorian 4 with Matthew Tavares, plus his other upcoming appearances. Sam even gives a shout out to Alfonso at Studio Comics. Before I go further, I encourage you to like this podcast on iTunes and definitely check out the TrueNorthCountryComics.com website. Like it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you can discover a lot more information about Canadian comic book creators and supporters. And now, here's my chat with Sam Noir.
Essentially, we've always got a new project on the go, so within the next month, we're releasing the Zip Kramer collected edition graphic novel. Zip Kramer is the galaxy's worst hero, and essentially we've had enough of his appearances in various anthologies and his own solo comic book that Marvin Law and I had a successful Kickstarter. And so, I was just out visiting Alfonso at Studio Comics, a wonderful guy. It's my first collected graphic novel, so he's really educating me about the production aspects of putting that together. So I'm super excited at having finally having a collected edition. I've had so many different comics, but this is the first time I've had enough content to put in a square-bound book. Christopher Yao, my co-creator on Major North, we have a new comic called Dwayne's Inferno that's coming out. I like to describe the comic as John Constantine meets The Omen. So essentially a young boy who is, we believe, he may or may not be the Antichrist, and he walks around a supernatural world having adventures, shall we say, or misadventures, or investigating paranormal activity. And you know what? I'm probably forgetting something else. There's a lot of stuff in the works. Skeleton Apey is my kids' comic with Stephanie Line about a little monkey girl and her best friend, a T-Rex dinosaur skeleton boy. She's got a script in hand that's going to be a surprise. Again, in conjunction with Studio Comics, they have something called I'm gonna get this wrong. What was it? The Canadian Comic Box, I believe. And this is going to be Skeleton Apey. He's invited Steph and I to be a part of this, so we're quite excited to be involved in this Canadian comics community and this initiative that Alfonso has done to bring us all together. What else am I working on there? Victorian 4, my steampunk superhero series with Matthew Tavares, featuring Sherlock Holmes trapped in the body of the Frankenstein monster. President Lincoln survives assassination with a transfusion of vampire blood. Madame Curie is the real-life discoverer of radiation. She turns into the Hulk. We call her Mrs. Hyde. And John Henry, who built the railroads with his go-go gadget hammer, they're fighting an alien conspiracy led by a cabal of, shall we say, fictional and non-fictional public domain characters. And the latest issue has Lincoln facing down against his arch enemy, werewolf John Wilkes Booth. So there we have we've been building up their conflict over the last few issues, so we're going to finally let them go toe-to-toe. So that's sort of the release in the next month or two. That's again, it's quite exciting. I do a lot of kids comics, so we're here today at the Barrie Library Comic-Con. Is that correct? I go to so many of these. I start to wonder which town I'm in.
Cool. What is your next show then, where people can see you in person?
Well, probably not in time for the podcast. I'm at Word on the Street tomorrow. Yeah. No, luckily we have a tent. Previous years it's rained on me and it's been windy, so I'm actually really looking forward to hot. Like, hot is fine as long as I don't have, my prints blowing across the street or the rain. What else is coming up? That Mississauga Comics Expo at the Mississauga Library. That's going to be fairly huge. Run by Jason Liu of the Pitiful Human Lizard. So it's always nice when we have a comic event, again, in a library where we have a comic creator who is building a roster of people exhibiting who only do their own original work. Like, this is what I'm excited about, just to have a venue where you don't have, and this is, like I said, fan prints and fan art and all that kind of thing, wonderful. Celebrity guests are wonderful, but events like TCAF and MCX, where it's all about the comics and all about the creators, I cannot say enough positive things about that.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much, Sam.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks to Sam for taking time to chat with me at the Barrie Public Library Comic-Con. You can discover more about Sam at sam-noir, noir.tumblr.com. And thanks to you for listening to the True North Country Comics podcast. I invite you to subscribe, like, and comment on the podcast. So please send your feedback to truenorthcountrycomics@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now.